Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir, tout le monde. I'm just going to say a quick little message, everyone, in French to my French speaking guests here tonight. Juste un petit message à vous autres. Mon invité, c'est un Américain qui est au Californie. Il ne parle pas français. Alors, ce soir, désolé, mais ça serait juste en anglais, peut-être un peu d'espagnol, parce que c'est lui aussi, il parle puis il comprend un peu d'espagnol, mais il n'y aura pas de français. Sauf si vous voulez me demander des questions en français, je vais traduire pour lui, puis on va le répondre, OK? So it's just to let you guys know, tonight is only going to be in English because my guest, he's a good buddy of mine. He's a special guy. He's got a good heart, a good soul. He's an intelligent guy. He knows what's going on in the world. He means well. He wants to make a difference. His name is Joey Haim. He goes by the name Coincidence Yoey on Instagram because what the sheep feel are coincidence. The same way I generally predict things that are going to happen and what's going down. Joey can break it down in his own way with what we call gematria, with numbers. He found a way to hack the system, so to speak, and break it so he knows what's going on while it's going on and sometimes even before it's going on. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to bring him on shortly. I'm just going to give a little chance for some more people to join us. And hello, everyone. I see all of you that are there. It's always a pleasure. Mel, Marie-Christine, Normand, Numik, Robert Paisan, Carabene, Marie, hi Carol, Natalie, and Tritrisium, always there. I appreciate it. There was a lot of interest on Joey's side. A lot of Americans wanted to join us. But since Joey's biggest thing right now, because he was involved in sports broadcasting, he had a radio show, and right now his main website, his Patreon link, which we will get into, where he predicts sporting events, what's going to happen before it happens, and who's going to win. I'll let him give you the figures, but I estimate he's got to be hovering somewhere between 80 to 90% accuracy, maybe more. I'll let Joey give you the figures on what he predicts, and people sign up to his website, and he gives them picks. And I'll tell you something. I'm personally not a gambler myself, but a lot of people enjoy it. You sign up to his page, you're going to be making some money. I'll tell you that right now, because whatever he's telling you to wager on, and I know this for a fact because I've seen it, he does it himself. Whatever he tells people to wager on, he himself is wagering on. So without further ado, and I'm hoping more people join us. But again, unfortunately, it's a little bit later than we normally start at 6 p.m. his time in California. So we started a bit later. And most of the people that follow Joey are watching the NBA Finals that started a half hour ago between my Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. Not that I really give a shit, because we all know in advance that it's handpicked who's going to win. So without further ado, let me bring on Joey, known as Coincidence Yoey. Welcome, Joey, all the way from sunny California. It's freaking freezing out here. It was like 10 degrees earlier today. And that's 10 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Yeah.
I know you do the Celsius thing. First of all, let me tell you, as a guy that used to do sports talk radio out here in Los Angeles when I thought sports were real, holy cow, dude, you are so good. You're so professional. How many years have you been doing the podcast thing?
About a year. I'm looking at my wife because I really don't pay attention to that stuff. About a year, not even.
Bro.
She said, Joey's asking how long have I been doing this, like the podcast? About a year. Let's say about a year.
Dude, you are amazing. The way you set up the show, though, I'm super impressed, dude. Like you're like a 30-year veteran right now. So I'm very impressed.
Well, coming from you, that means a lot, because I know when it comes to this stuff, you know your shit. You know exactly what you're talking about because you were involved. You used to do this. So I want to give you an opportunity, Joey. And even though we don't necessarily have a lot of people watching at the moment, we're both going to share it after, because it will be on my YouTube page as a video. So people will have access to this live afterwards. And once I allow Joey, I'm going to let Joey talk a little bit about himself, where he comes from, what he's doing right now. And then we're going to take questions for me, questions for Joey, and we'll answer it the best that we can. So Joey, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, your background, in sports. If you want to talk a little bit about your background in general and how you got to this point where you're doing what it is that you're doing right now.
So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And yeah, like Jared said, so many of my followers, I have I'm shadow banned really bad on Instagram. I had a Conspiracy Joey page. When I hit 90,000, they took it away from me for nothing. The reason they took it away from me, and I'm sure you and I will talk about it, was I went to the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash site on the 3-year anniversary of his fake death, and they did not like that. For no reason, they took my page away completely. So then I went from Conspiracy Joey to Coincidence Yoey.
Oh yeah, it's Coincidence Yoey, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is Mexican, and my mother-in-law, she's almost 70 years old, and she believes COVID was real and the vaccines. And my father-in-law was vaccinated, and he died from cancer, sadly enough. And she would always tell me, yoy, it's a coincidence. Yoy, it's just everything is a coincidence.
Abuela.
Yeah. So anyway, my as far as this goes, 9/11, I would say I always believed 9/11 was real. I have a friend, his name is Will. He was in the Marines, and he was actually one of the first people to invade Saddam Hussein's house. He came to my house. He brought me. Saddam Hussein had these portraits in his room, and he said he asked me if I can keep it at his house, at my house, because it was anybody who they took gold bars, they took all this stuff, right? And so he kept telling me, it wasn't really Muhammad Atta who did it. It was we did it. And I'm like, dude, how can you say that? Don't ever say the U.S. We would never do that. For 5-6 years, I'd see him at the gym. He'd say, Sandy Hook wasn't real. And I'm saying, oh, you're telling me those kids weren't shot? Dude, get out of my face. One day, are we going to say something?
Yeah. I was just going to say, let's try to use some metaphors because it is YouTube.
Okay, I got you. Yeah,
we have to be a little bit, not to get too deep. We can, but let's word it in a way that won't catch those who are watching.
Gotcha. So when it comes to the events of that special day in 2001, that day. So one day on a Friday, I said, you know what? I'm gonna look up what this guy tells me to look up. And man, was it an eye opener for me. So it was around 2011. I looked at videos. I saw airplanes not crashing into buildings like they should have. I saw no video footage of an airplane hitting the Pentagon. I saw no plane parts in Shanksville. And man, did I go into a 6-month depression. Holy cow. Because now I have 3 kids. At the time I had my oldest, who was probably 5 at the time. I had my daughter, who was 2, and now I have a 6-year-old. And I was like, how can I bring him into this world? Oh my God. And I said, you know what? I think God, you and I both strongly believe in God. I think God wants me to be some kind of a messenger. So I started trying to open people's eyes, and some people did not like it. Oh, hold on. Oy. Oh man, I got a fly in my tooth. Ooh, a fly in my mouth. Sorry.
I wish out here we had flies. It's too freaking cold.
Oh, really? Oh yeah. Just out of nowhere, just whoo. All right, but we're good. Sorry about that. So, my eyes were open, and then I looked into so many things like the JFK assassination, which he wasn't even human. I know this stuff sounds crazy, and I always tell everybody, trust me, I would never thought I would hear myself saying these kinds of things.
So Joey, but before you continue, let me just explain to my viewers.
Okay,
a little bit about what you're saying, just so they understand where you're coming from, and then continue. So for those of you who don't yet know Joey, he posts a lot of videos. He focuses a lot on the rigged sports, meaning that it's all handpicked in advance, who's going to win and what's going to happen. But he posts a lot of videos of, let's say, people in power, famous people that aren't necessarily human. And I myself have spoken about it, how a lot of the people running the world are not human, whether they be demons, whether they be clones, whether they be a special breed, of mix of human and what we call shadim, of demonic races. So Joey actually has posted a lot of pictures and even better videos where you actually see some of the most famous people in history shape-shifting, the eye shifting. You can clearly see. So when Joey's telling you about the non-humans, he's posted legit unaltered videos where you can clearly see how fake some of these so-called people actually are. Go ahead, Joey.
Elvis Presley, who I idolized growing up, not a human. I call them shapeshifters, but I really think they're aliens. I don't know if they come from Orion. That's what people ask me all the time. Tupac, I've posted videos of Tupac and Biggie shapeshifting. And, the question I get all the time is, okay, Joey, so where do they go? That's the one, or where do they come from? That's the one I can never, I have no, and I always tell people, I only post and talk about what I know. So like no airplanes went through buildings, in real life, if an airplane hits a building, the airplane would combust, like blow up on the outside. It wouldn't go all the way through the building, right?
100%. Plus, you can clearly see that it's holograms. It's very clear when you take a good look at the video. And we will discuss, by the way, Joey, we will discuss where do they come from and where do they go. And even though as an exorcist, I deal with demons, what we call shedim, I deal with dibukim, which are what's called unclean spirits. I deal with different races of angelic beings and demonic beings. Even then, there are so many different races and levels within each race, and they can come both from different planets. There are many, many different planets they can come from. They can come from actually the center of the earth. That's actually where the Garden of Eden is, Gan Eden is. We'll get into that later. Or they could actually come from different dimensions completely. So there's a million places that they can come from, and I'm willing to guess that a lot of the ones in power are actually coming from several places.
So that's what I'm learning now. I think it's like they travel in different dimensions is what it is, like portals and like Joe Biden. I posted a picture of Joe Biden yesterday holding, I think, his granddaughter's hand. I don't know who it was, but if you just look at it, it's Joe Biden. But when you zoom in on my Instagram page, and like I did a close up, he looks like a gray. I'm sure you know what a gray is, correct?
Sure.
He has that one, the face like a gray. But I wish I knew, like, Tupac was not killed in Vegas. Like, a lot of these people don't have, so my biggest thing is Kobe Bryant. If Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, it would be, there's so many, what do they call those ringer, those security cameras are called ringer. There would be video, there would have been
tons of video of it.
Tons of video of black smoke in the skies. If you go on YouTube and you put in Kobe Bryant helicopter crash, you will see there's no black smoke in the sky. And of course, if you want to start talking about gematria, gematria as like 201 is a huge number because you'd have to have I don't know. Are you allowed to show something on your computer? Can you do that or no?
Well, the girl that helps me might be able to. I'm what we would call technologically handicapped.
Oh, you and I both, my friend. You and I both.
So if I would have had something to send to her in advance, she would have been able to do it. But by the time I would figure it out, the show will be over. So
yeah. So,
but talk about the gematria, because a lot of people know that I'm very deep in Kabbalah. I study Kabbalah.
Kabbalah is gematria.
100%, but we don't discuss it as a gematria, because Hebrew letters have a number, and God created all the universes with Hebrew letters, so to speak.
Correct.
So Joey breaks down the gematria, the numerical system that God used with the Hebrew letters to create the universe. And based on those numbers, he's able to not just predict what's going on in sports, but he could tell you what's fake and what's not. And I'll give an example, and I'll let Joey go into more detail. He mentioned 201 is a big number, 27, 33. And very often you'll notice in a lot of the headlines where they say that famous and important people have died, whether a crash, whether a suicide, whether there was some type of attack. And they did the same thing during the pandemic. It was always the same numbers that they used. They threw it a lot in our face. It was 666 a lot, 66 a lot, 33. And a lot of the things that surrounded Elvis, surrounded Kobe, it's always 201, it's always 33. Every headline, there's a 33 somewhere. Am I right, Joey?
You're correct, sir. 33, because I think they love because 33 is like the number. It's the highest degree of Freemasonry that you can get is 33. So you'll see 30. You'll see 30. So once I point this out to people, you'll see 33. Now you guys, whoever's watching this right now or watching this later, you will see 33 on the news every day. They love the number 33.
And another reason, Joey, by the way, that they love 33, although you and I are both from the Hebrew tribe, we're both Jewish, we understand Jesus. I speak about him often enough. Jesus, as we know, according to legend, was 33. And we know that the evil that are running the world, they're constantly mocking God the Father. And to spit in the face of Christians, they're constantly mocking Jesus, which
Correct.
is why the number 33 comes up a lot.
Yeah, you'll see, like, even I posted something on my Instagram page. And by the way, just so you guys know, I don't do Twitter a lot. I'm more of an Instagram guy. Instagram, like, I don't do it Facebook anymore, but Instagram kind of lets me post the most, even though I've been warned a bunch. But even in India yesterday, there was some kind, it says that there was a killing in India where 33 people were killed. No, once you see the number 33, you know it's a lie. And also, you'll see stuff in orange because they.
I was about to say, talk to me about the orange, Joey.
The orange is crazy. You will see. So in one of the pictures, that's another thing I love. They say in Instagram, there's a warning. Warning: the following images might be disturbing. It's just a little kid, like with his, wearing orange, like just laying down. There's no blood anywhere. So orange in gematria is 33, and you'll also see bricks everywhere. Because the Freemasons are known. I mean, they call themselves Freemasons, but I think I'm starting to think that the bricks have to do more with there's like an ice wall that everybody talks about. You know what I'm talking about, Jared?
Yes, the Antarctic ice wall, and it is there because the Earth is a lot bigger than they say it is, and there's a lot going on beyond that wall that we don't have access to.
And that's where I think maybe I used to think I don't know. Like I said, I always prove that Elvis, Tupac, we're going to talk about the number 201 a little bit, but I can prove to you guys that these people are not, first of all, they don't die like humans die. When I die, I saw my father die. I saw him, he took his last breath of cancer. My father died, but these Elvis, Jim Morrison, Whitney Houston, they're not human to begin with. And so they don't die like we do, but they always leave us clues. And they always purposely make mistakes. I'll give you an example, the Backstreet Boys, Nick Carter. You remember his brother Aaron Carter died in a bathtub?
Or so they say, yeah.
Or so they say, correct. So you'll see they always purposely make mistakes because it's like a cosmic karma thing. They always, don't you think all the members of the Backstreet, and you guys can go on TMZ, by the way, don't you think all the members of Backstreet Boys know how old Aaron Carter's brother is? Of course they would know, right?
100%.
I mean, how old Aaron Carter was. So Nick Carter's older, and so you'll see the first concert after Aaron Carter dies. Kevin Richardson, one of the members, says, "Hey, we just want to say that we lost Aaron Carter today. He was so young. He was 52 years old. He was 31 years old." Yeah, they do this stuff all the time. They
throw it in the face on purpose because they know everyone is stupid.
Yeah, they know where the sheep are dumb. Like Whitney Houston dying in a bathtub. Who does cocaine and dies in a bathtub?
And there's a lot of the bathtub. Wasn't there, what's his name? Was it Matthew Perry or who was it recently?
Perry.
That they say he died in a bathtub. He drowned in a bathtub. How do you drown in a bathtub when you're in your 50s?
He died supposedly in a sauna. That's
a sauna, even better. Okay.
Yeah, he was in a sauna, and then if you go on his Instagram page, he had the weirdest text messages, and his was during the eclipse. They love eclipses, these beings or whatever they are. There's a guy that I follow. His name is Rambo. I became good friends with him, and he always proves he's on Patreon. It's only $5 a month. It's called The Truth Codes. Do you follow Rambo at all? But you know who he is, right?
I know who he is. I haven't had a chance to follow him yet.
Yeah, he's amazing. So he just shows you how Joe Biden named his two kids Bo and Hunter. Do you know what that signifies?
Tell us, Joey.
The Orion constellation. The Orion belt. It's a guy holding a bow and arrow. So he names his two kids Hunter and Bo. So we always talk about the number 201, right? I wish I can go on my son's computer right now. Yeah. He wasn't supposed to be home, but I can go on the Gematrinator. So so Joe Biden supposedly, and these people, like I said, these beings, they don't die. He had a wife and daughter that died in the early 70s, right?
Yes.
So the name of the street they died on was Lime Creek Road. Lime Creek Road is 201.
It's always a 201. There's always a 33. So we're also talking about the colors orange, which we see a lot. And you mentioned the brick wall. And it is true that on almost every news story, out of all the places they could be standing, it's always by a brick wall. Furthermore, and this is where for sure the Freemasonry comes in. And as you know, I infiltrated. I actually became a Mason so I could see for myself what's going on in there.
That's
And
right.
one of the things that is very common, even to the point where they're wearing shirts, is the checkered, the black and white checkers. It's everywhere. Duality, exactly.
So even here's the thing that I'm struggling with, because as a Jew, I grew up in a semi-Orthodox house. We never kept the Sabbath, but we always went to synagogue on the high holidays. So I'm trying to figure out why Judaism loves Saturn so much. There's a black cube in Saturn, correct?
Correct, yes.
And what do we put over here?
The tefillin, yes. So I've looked into that, and I always thought about that as well. Now the thing is, you have to understand there's two different aspects here when it comes to religion in general. Okay. Now, if you go back in history, you'll know that, and I know people like to throw it around a lot, where there's the real Jews and the not real Jews. Now, generally, and I've had it out in a few interviews with other people. We both are on the same page. We're proud of who we are. We won't back down. We'll support Israel. And I've openly done it in videos and interviews. It's generally the anti-Semites. No, but Jared, you're the good kind of Jew. That's normally what the anti-Semite loves to throw at us. However, you did have the ancient Khazarians, which were a demonic cult, that in the time in Eastern Europe, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, even more, they were given a choice by the leaders, and they were told either convert to one of the religions or get out. Now, you know that evil will always try to infiltrate the holiest places. So what many of the Khazarians did is they actually became fake Jews. They converted to Judaism. So it's kind of like a lot of we can't use the term that starts with A and ends in I, but the people who killed 6 million of ours, a lot of them after the war actually moved into Jewish communities, right? Yep. And they did it purposely. It's almost like a spit in the face, right?
Yes, sir.
So evil did the same thing, and that's why you have kind of like your Zuckerbergs, and you have your George Soroses of the world, and you have your Rothschilds. These are not real Jews at all. They're Jews only in name, but they're actually Khazarians and demon worshippers who have nothing to do with Judaism.
That's
now,
what's his name? The guy Netanyahu. Same exact thing.
And I've been talking about Netanyahu from the beginning. Now, I'll tell you a story. I don't want to go into the details, but about 20 years ago, I met Netanyahu. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually had supper with the man. We were about 10, 15 of us. I don't want to go into the details. This was before he completely sold out. Okay. Times have changed, and he's the first one, like during the whole pandemic, you'll notice as you know, Israel was the first country to get mega vaccinated.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So even someone like him, he doesn't give a rat's ass about his people. He doesn't give a rat's ass about the country. He doesn't give a rat's ass about the land. He doesn't give a rat's ass about anybody. And he's just as corrupt as any of the other idiots that are in power, unfortunately. So you have to understand that a lot of evil has infiltrated into all religions and to all people. And the main purpose is to bring us down, is to divide and conquer, so to speak, right?
Yes, sir.
And so the whole idea of the cube, now keep in mind that Saturn and all the other planets are actually, so we call it in Kabbalah, they're considered intelligences. Okay. There's actually angels that are running each intelligence, each planet, and you have good and you have bad. Now, the concept of Saturn in and of itself is not bad, as each planet has its own power, so to speak, under God's creation, right?
Yeah.
But what evil does is evil will take it and twist it and manipulate it. Example, the number 33 is not a bad number, but it became bad because they twisted the number 666 actually is not a bad number. The swastika used to be a symbol of peace.
Yeah.
So what evil does is it takes things that are either neutral or holy and it bastardizes it and manipulates it and twists it. And go ahead. Yes.
So you're 100% right. Like that's the thing. Like going back to Judaism, like with like does my rabbi? I've asked my I was meeting every Wednesday in a town called Valencia. My best friend with a couple of rabbis, and I showed him a couple of this thing, and I asked him like about Saturn, like because Saturn is the keeper of time, and so I'm trying to figure out like why, because Saturn is the rabbis, they wear black and white, so that's duality, right? The Saturn is Saturday is Saturn, right? The black cube of Saturn. People don't know you can Google this, you guys. There's a black cube inside of Saturn. That's why the Jews put the cubes. They wrap around the leather 7 times. That's for the 7 rings of Saturn. So here's the craziest thing. They use magic to manipulate sports out here. So I used to be a guy that thought, I played sports my whole life. I did sports talk radio. I can name every World Series champion in the last 40 years, every basketball champion. And then now that I know what I know, I can see that in the people think they use magnets in basketball games. It's magic. It's crazy. They can make a ball. They can make a baseball player hit a home run off of 1 foot. It's insane. They can get any outcome they want. See, that's the thing. Like, can I give you a quick example?
Give me a couple.
Okay, so Kobe Bryant died on January 26th. That's 126. So the first year after Kobe died, they made August 23rd, which is really weird. Kobe was born on August 23rd, but they made August 24th Kobe Bryant Day. He wore number 8 and he wore number 24, right? So yes. You got to hear this, because this is like one of the ones that just completely blew my mind. On August 24th, on Kobe Bryant Day, it might have been the second year after he died, the Milwaukee Bucks were playing the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Brewers were playing the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, my specialty is baseball. I played baseball. I coach baseball.
Your kids play baseball?
Yeah, all my kids play. So in baseball, you can't say, some people think the games are fixed like this. They say the umpire tells them before the game, hey, we need the final score to be 1-0 because of this numeric ritual. It's impossible. Somebody can hit 2 home runs in a game accidentally. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So you can't say, hey, we need the final score to be 10-5, because you can do it more in football. You can't do it in baseball. So going back to Kobe, the second Kobe Bryant Day, I don't think they played the first one. So at Dodger Stadium on Kobe Bryant Day, the Milwaukee Brewers lost to the Dodgers 12-6. So Kobe died on 126. So it's all ritual. I think Kobe, we might disagree on this. I think Kobe was either one of the Antichrists. I think like the Antichrist changes all the time. I think Elvis was the Antichrist, because they make you fall in love with somebody like John F. Kennedy, and then they take him away, and they like to feed off our energy. It's called energy looshing. And so not only did the Dodgers win 12-6, the score was 12-5 with 2 strikes and 2 outs on the Milwaukee hitter, and he hit a home run to make it 12-6. And that one just blew my mind on Kobe Bryant Day, because the real number. So I'll give you another quick example. Jerry West. You probably don't know who Jerry West is. You know Jerry West?
Of course I know Jerry West. He just passed away.
He passed away today.
And he was one of the greatest Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers basketball players.
And he was, and even more famously, he was the one that drafted Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
He was right? He was the general manager of the Lakers. So what are the odds that so Kobe died on 126? And how do you write June 12th in Canada?
12-6.
126.
Yeah.
What? There's only 3 days that it could be 126. January 26th, June 12th, December 6th.
Correct.
And Jerry West dies. I don't think he dies. I also noticed another characteristic. Most of them have these flat skulls. It's crazy. You'll see they flat skulls. Watch TV. You'll see the orange bricks everywhere in commercials.
Well, you show, Joey, in your videos on your Instagram, which I follow. You've shown a lot of videos and pictures of the flat skull. Another thing is they all have a face in their kneecap.
Oh, it's crazy. The kneecap
and the neck. They all have things going on their neck.
Michael Jackson, there's a video I posted with Michael Jackson. He does You Are Not Alone, I Am Here With You. He does that in a concert. And when he calls this girl up on stage, if you pause it, you can see he's wearing a mask. It's a crazy mask. And then if you pause into his hair, you can see demons all over his hair because he's not human. These things are all over their bodies. It's crazy. And you know how I know it's real? Because the 3 or 4 shows that I've done where I've totally focused on those demons, they come to me at night. It's the weirdest thing, dude.
100%. And I know we spoke about that. And one of the reasons I wanted you on here, I've been talking since day one about black magic, about demons, about the devil, about evil, the unclean spirits. And that's why I warn about tarot. I warn about crystals. I warn about Reiki. I warn about all this new age hocus pocus. And you're understanding the same concept from a different perspective that I have been telling people and warning them about. The average person has no idea, no concept, just how prevalent, just how much black magic is actually going on around us on a daily basis. And just to give an example, and I'll be careful how I say this, let's say big pharma, okay? The word pharmacy literally comes from the ancient Greek pharmakia. Now, wow. Pharmakia, one of the meanings is literally black magic. Right?
Television.
So,
yeah.
So that's exactly what it is. But good night, Eliana. Another thing, you're not that far from Hollywood. Okay. Most people have absolutely no idea. And they ask me, why the name Hollywood out of all the names they can choose? Why Hollywood? Do you know why Hollywood?
The holly, the vine or something.
The wood of the holly.
The wood,
the ancient druids like Merlin and like we see Harry Potter with their wand. The wands that the black magic druids and magicians used to use were made from wood of the holly tree. So they're already telling you in Hollywood, by calling it Hollywood, that it's all there to trick you. It's all black magic.
And the number one tool they use is TV. TV is so powerful. The propaganda, the January 6th insurrection. And, you know, that's the thing. Like, up until, oh, gosh, I know exactly when it was. When I used to love Donald Trump. I used to wear a MAGA hat. I think I think what I like the most about Trump, Jared, is how he pushes the liberals button.
That's the best part, yes.
They can't stand it. They fall for everything. And even the conservatives are not as smart. They think this whole thing with, what's his name, Hunter Biden is real. Yeah, it's so fake. You know, the guy leaves his computer behind. He's smoking crack. And everything is a show. Kyle Rittenhouse. And once again, Kyle Rittenhouse had an orange flag in his rifle. What's his name? Hunter Biden walks to court and you'll see orange cones. Orange cones is them. That's them leaving their mark. Excuse me. I forgot, what were we talking about? What were we just talking about?
Well, we're just talking about the black magic.
Oh, the black magic. Yeah. So TV is like the more eyeballs they can get, like a Super Bowl or all the 9/11 stuff. Like, you know, they've had all this technology way before they unleash it to us, like CGI and green screen. And it's just amazing how to this day people still think airplanes hit the World Trade Center. It blows my mind.
Well, Joey, it's funny, and I noticed there's 2 questions which we're going to see. We're going to take in a minute, but you mentioned that how people still think that 9/11 is real, and I'm going to put on my reading glasses to read the questions.
Okay.
What I find interesting, and I laugh when people tell me this. There are people who still think that Richard Nixon called the moon from the old rotary phone from his desk in 1969. Like, you see the images, people actually still believe that we were on the moon in 1969. It's mind-boggling. So as we saw during the whole pandemic, you can tell someone until they're blue in the face and they're just at a point where they can no longer see the truth. Look, in my area, I have a forest in my backyard. I actually got horses, several horses on my street. Okay. It's nice farmland over here. There's actually a couple of farms on my street, and there's still people walking down the street by themselves wearing a mask. So So we have two questions here, and then we'll talk a little bit more. We're going to go to my dear friend Mel C. Labaron. She has it's a question comment. She says, Joey, please explain the kneecaps.
So the kneecaps, like, and there are some people that have it, but for some reason, like, take the the skulls, the smushed in skulls, for example. There's people that have it that are, are friends of ours, and but that's the thing. Even our friends, we wouldn't even know. This is their planet, you guys. The Earth, they know how to get everything out of Earth. They know how to get all the magic out of Earth. They manipulate us every day. It's their planet, and we just live here. So, but you can tell Tupac, Kobe Bryant, all of them have the smushed in skulls. What was the question? One more time. The question was
the kneecaps. Mel wants you to explain what's going on with the kneecaps.
So a lot of times, like whether it's like Michael Jackson's hair or Prince, and they're like over here, LeBron's shoulder. Michael Jordan, I've shown he's not human. Michael Jordan, you'll see his eye slit. He'll get I took a picture on the TV of Michael Jordan today. I haven't posted it yet. People will freak out. But the kneecaps, like, and I get comments from people like, my knees do the same thing. You go on my Instagram page, I think, these famous people are taking pictures like the Kardashians, and you can see a face in their kneecap. It doesn't
all the time. And it's not like where you could say, okay, maybe. Like, no. It's a clear face. That is in there, and it's all these fake people. They all have the same type of face in their kneecap.
And people will send me like, "Oh, my wife's kneecap does the same thing," and then I'll tell somebody, "Okay, DM me the picture," and then they'll DM me and like, "Oh no."
Oh, there it is. Melissa, the girl who helps me. Look, guys, Melissa put on. You can clearly see the kneecap pictures from Joey's Instagram. Look at that.
Awesome, Melissa. Wow, great job.
Yeah, Melissa's the best. She's awesome. So. There you go. You can clearly see.
Awesome, Melissa. And while we're on the subject for characteristics that they have, another one is you'll see 95% of presidents have had blue eyes. Starting quarterbacks in the NFL and especially the Super Bowl, blue eyes.
Oh yeah.
TV, Anderson Cooper. I can go on and on. 95% of them have blue eyes. Leading men have blue eyes.
Which is interesting because in general, if you go by the percentage of the population, blue eyes is not that common unless you're living 2%. Perhaps in Norway or Sweden or something like that.
Yeah, and so like I mean, you and I are older guys, but there's a show called Police Woman. Do you remember the show Police Woman?
I do.
With Angie Dickinson. So it's crazy. So I wake up early every morning. I'll put it on at 6 o'clock. And every actor, like whoever the actor is that plays the bad guy or whatever, every single one has blue eyes. And in every episode, the brick wall thing, that didn't just start. The brick wall thing is like, I'll watch shows from the 60s, 70s, and they put...
It was there, yes.
Yeah, the brick walls are like... For me, the bricks, first of all, bricks are orange. And bricks are, like you'll see, you guys are in a huge baseball country, but in every baseball stadium, you'll see behind home plate is bricks. Or there's bricks because the Freemasons invented baseball. So Freemasons are known as the builders, and you can't build without a brick, correct?
Correct.
So now that I've pointed this out to you guys, watch TV, watch movies, you'll see bricks like not just when they're walking outside, but you'll see bricks inside of an office building. You'll see bricks like somebody will be in a scene and they'll have the bricks right behind them over here. But really quick, going back to the moon landing, you'll never guess what day of the year the moon landing happened. The 201st 201.
201. There you go.
Right, and is what's Nancy? What's your assistant's name? I forgot her name.
Melissa.
Why am I thinking Nancy? Melissa, can you do me a favor? It'll be easy to find. So Tom Hanks, remember who the first, I just said his name. Tom Hanks was the first celebrity to have COVID, right? And I told everybody, because I fell for COVID for 2 weeks. I didn't get vaccinated. I got to be careful of the words.
No, so, we use out here, the way we avoid it is we call it jibby jabby. That most of the people watching this didn't get the jibby jabby.
Yeah, you go. Right. So I told everybody in the beginning, I said, you guys know what that stands for? It stands for Certificate of Vaccination ID.
Absolutely.
I was the first one to tell everybody they're going to make us get the jibby jabby, and they're going to say, hey, if you don't get it, you can't go to school. You know, my wife is a nurse at a huge hospital out here, and she did a religious. I told her there's no way anybody is getting it that I love and my kids, whatever. And so they told my wife, don't even think about it. You're gonna have to. We're gonna fire you or you get it. We did a religious exemption and it worked. But I told everybody from the beginning, Certificate of Vaccination ID. So, anyways, let's go back to Tom Hanks, right? Do you know what Event 201 is?
Sure, we do.
Okay,
Well,
so
I do, but tell the listeners.
So Event 201 was, as we always say, Jared, they always have to tell us first. It's part of their cosmic, it's part of their cosmic, like the COVID was like there was a show called, oh my God, what was the show called? I can't think of it now. Top Model. I forgot what it is. America's Next Top Model or something. And there was actually a fucking contestant. His name was COVID Kapoor. You guys can.
I remember that. Yes.
And do you remember what his fashion? Remember what his invention was?
No, I don't.
It was a face mask matching the outfit, like a face mask. And this is a year and a half before the COVID, because they have to tell us, right?
Well, they like to throw their Event 201. They're always throwing it in our face to mock us, to laugh at us, and to tell people really how sheeple-like that they are and how stupid they are, because they're constantly telling us in advance what it is they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And just to say one thing, so people, Joey was the first one in the US talking about what's going on. Here in Canada, I was the first one. In fact, probably about 2 months before the pandemic hit, I was already doing podcasts, which were taken down literally 5 minutes after I did them, telling people exactly what's coming and how to prepare. So, Joey, before we continue, I have another question by my paisan over here, Rob Carabene. He says, question, I'm going to put it on the screen. Hi, Joey. Do you think the NHL Stanley Cup Finals is fixed?
Everything is. They own everything, you guys. They own women's basketball. They own like here's a good example. I don't want to get you in trouble. So every world leader is, man, you want to see, there's a guy that shows Putin shape-shifting at the you guys got to Google it or YouTube. Here's the thing too. I've noticed that once I point stuff out, YouTube will scrub all the videos of like the stuff that I pointed out. So there's a guy that shows Vladimir Putin shape-shifting, I don't know, the year 2017. There's like a Christmas special. And by the way, every time they bring up Jesus or the Holy Spirit, did you ever see Al Roker freeze?
Al Roker, he's the black gentleman?
The black gentleman?
Yes, I've seen
the
that,
weatherman on the Today Show. And he freezes after the girl next to him says the Holy Spirit, and he completely freezes. So Vladimir Putin's at a Christmas celebration, and he starts shape-shifting, and you can tell he looks like an alien. So all of these people are on the same team, you guys. There's never going to be a nuclear war because they need Earth. How many times have you heard that there's going to be a war, a nuclear war? The biggest sham of all was what happened in Israel. That the security team fell asleep and let all these guys across the border and on paragliders. Such a joke. It's all done for ritual's sake. Everything is, they love numbers, they love rituals. So unfortunately, yes, the NHL is fixed. College sports is fixed. Fixed isn't even the word. Like I always tell everybody, one of the biggest things that they try to sell you is that these athletes care. If they win or they lose, Michael Jordan, he gets mad, or the coach. It's all the show.
Or they see the players crying after a game.
It's all a show. They don't care. They don't, there's actually been some videos where you see, like, I think I wish I was in front of my computer right now. You'll see all the NBA players like move at the same time. Have you ever seen those videos?
Yes.
Where they all jump at the same time, or they get mad at the same time. It's as if somebody has a joystick.
Correct.
It's crazy.
Yes.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's like somebody is controlling them. And I'm not saying like it's like that obvious. It's usually on the bigger stage, but like these guys don't care. The basketball championship right now, they don't care. They make believe they care. The coaches yell at the referees, but it's all been predetermined. I don't know. And the reason they get the desired result is through black magic. But I
Correct.
want to go
And
back.
go
Go ahead.
ahead, Joey.
So really quick, I want to go back to Tom Hanks
Yeah.
about, we always talk about the number 201, 201, 201. So like the Pope, Pope Mario, what's his name? Mario Bergoglio. His name is 201 in gematria. When he sleeps in room 201, because if you take off the 0, 21 is also Saturn. And I think Society of Jesus is 201. And so they did event 201. Why do they call it event 201? Why not event 27, event 204, event 196? They call it event 201. So if you want to go look up, Google Tom Hanks' first tweet about gin rummy. This is like, I think she'll pull it up right now. But Tom Hanks, the first guy to have, Tom Hanks is one of the most connected. He's like above, he's like on top of the totem pole, and I've shown him shape shifting. But Tom Hanks says, he was the first one that had it, and I was in Australia. And he says, my wife is beating me in gin rummy. Guess by how many points, Jared?
201?
201 points. And remember, he took a picture of the Corona typewriter. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
just because they like to rub it in our face and mock us, and like what's his name, Gavin Newsom, who's a total reptilian shapeshifter, so obvious. But he was eating at a restaurant out here while we're all supposed to be on lockdown, called the French Laundry, where it's like $350 a plate. But they love to mock us. Nancy Pelosi was getting her hair done in San Francisco while we're all supposed to be on lockdown. But Tom Hanks, for me, that was like oh my, that's how I knew COVID, that word was a lie. When Tom Hanks said, hey, everybody, I'm feeling great. I'm recuperating. The only thing is my wife is beating me by 201 points in gin rummy. 201. Why 201 and not 198, 197? Elvis Presley. Remember, that's how they mock us. Elvis Presley is known as the king, right? And they said he died taking a shit. So the toilet is known as the throne. His girlfriend that found him, her name is Ginger Alden. Ginger Alden in gematria is 201. Neil Alden Armstrong, the first man on the moon. Would you believe his name is 201 in gematria? Timothy McVeigh, Federal Building, 201. His accomplice, Terry Lynn Nichols, 201. What kind of car did they try to get away in? A Mercury Marquis, 201. And it was a Mercury ritual, like Kobe's fake death. So once you know the numbers,
it's crazy,
yeah. Once you see the same numbers over and over and over again, you like what kind of life? This is a crazy life that we're living.
So what's talking about crazy, and one of the reasons here, you probably know, I'm sure you do, that they've had certain bills that have been passed here in Canada in the last several years. Unlike in any other country. So as bad as it is with sleepy, creepy pedo Joe down there, it's worse here with Castro's son, Justin Trudeau. Aside from the fact that they passed bills restricting the firearms, one of the worst bills they recently passed was a bill that limits our freedom on the internet. So, for example, people here in Canada would have trouble in some ways following you and some of the stuff coming from other countries. We don't even have access on social media to what's going on outside Canada. It's actually blocked worse than in communist countries. It's insane.
It's so scary. And by the way, on my page, you guys can probably find it. Justin Trudeau is about as shaped. First of all, that guy's so creepy, but he's not born a human wise, but born and bred to be the leader. Like, I mean, the guy's such a dumbass. Yeah, it's so obvious. But there's a video of him, you guys. He was about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. He was at barbecuing at a grill, and you see his hands go
shape-shifting.
They shape shift. They go inside, and it's so weird. They like flip upside down. And it just shows you, like, that's all you need to see. They're not human. Elvis Presley's hands did the same thing. These people live among us. So they're not people. These beings live among us. They dictate our lives, and that's the worst thing, is that they don't even, like you just said, Jared, they won't even let you and I think on our own. Like if I want to say, it's not that bad here in the U.S., but it's going to be. Trust me. If I want to say something like elections are rigged, they're there's not. The election, I'll never vote because they already. Presidents are selected; they're not elected. I always tell people.
100%.
And so if I want to say something like the election is fake, whatever, like they'll take my page away. Like
No,
that,
it's absolutely crazy. Joey, I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
From Simon. Hi, Joey.
Simon.
Talking of sports. That's it. Any words on the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul this summer? Anything evil going on?
That's just like, well, another thing they like to do, by the way, and I always talk about this, is black humiliation, which to these. So again, let's go back to Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson. The Michael Jackson thing, he was not human. By the way, there's also another number you'll see all the time in gematria. That's 113.
113. Yep.
Yeah. So propofol is 113. Kobe Bryant is 113. The space shuttle, they said, the space shuttle that exploded out here. I just did a show about this. It's on my page. The space shuttle, they said they blew up 73 seconds after takeoff. That's 1 minute and 13 seconds. That's another 113.
Yep.
So what was the question again?
The question was the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul this summer. Is there anything evil or let's say strange going on with that?
So it's just black humiliation. Like, how come white, how many rappers, what year was that? Oh my gosh, it was 2021. There was something like 215 black rappers that were killed or sacrificed, or whatever you want to call it. And how many times do you hear of a boy band singer dying? And you see all this stuff like the Jesuits or the New World Order, they love humiliating black athletes and celebrities. Like what happened with Kobe Bryant with the whole fake rape thing. And they always talk about rocks, right? Barack Obama, Ciroc, the third rock from the sun, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Kobe gets caught cheating, and that was all a lie, and he buys her a rock. It's just crazy how they humiliate. So what I think is going to happen, it's going to be there's going to be a black humiliation ritual for Mike Tyson. If you think about it, almost every black, Bill Cosby, take Bill Cosby, for example. You're telling me that Bill Cosby raped, what did they say, like over 80 women, and nobody talks about it until like 1 year, all of a sudden they talk about it. But the stuff
all at the same time.
All at the same time. The stuff that's happening with P. Diddy right now, it's all. So actually, that's good that we're talking about this. I was bored one night, and I was on Netflix, and I put on TMZ, and they talked about the whole P. Diddy thing. All I saw was the color orange, like P. Diddy's going out with an orange towel. It's all like they don't care what we Earthlings think about them. They don't care. Like they don't have an ego. They want you to think it's black humiliation, but it's not. They don't. You think Mike Tyson's daughter died on? They said his 4-year-old daughter died on a treadmill extension cord. What are the odds? Or like Whitney Houston dying in a bathtub. The guitarist from the band Train last week died in the shower. They said, I've never met anybody who died in the shower.
No, it's great. It's crazy. And yes, there is, in general, humiliating is a big thing for evil. Yes. But especially, yes, they do love to humiliate black entertainers, athletes, musicians, actors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's very, very obvious. But people very often won't even bring that up because, there's the stigma that comes with, God forbid, you talk about someone of a different color or a different race or a different orientation. And all of a sudden, even if you're supporting them or saying that there's something going on to them, all of a sudden you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're this, you're that. And that's another thing, one of the ways, as you know, that they used to shut us up.
Yeah.
By throwing names out. You're this, you're this, you're this.
Well, it's funny because I think I have a huge loyal black following, and when I bring up stuff like this, they agree with me more than anything. Like they see they see the writing on the wall. They know right away that it's usually like a lie or humiliation ritual. You know, they make George Floyd look like George Floyd was completely fake. Do you remember what George Floyd? Remember the second grade teacher's name they brought out that they said was George Floyd's second grade teacher? Do you remember that one?
I don't remember the name, but I remember the whole George Floyd scam. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to Google it, the second grade, who would remember their kid in second grade? It's all a lie. Her name was Waynell Sexton. Take off the W. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
Like, whose name is Waynell Sexton?
That's absolutely insane. Yeah.
It's insane. They love to mock us. Like, the George Floyd thing was like, I don't know how big that was in Canada, but anytime they want to start a race war or whatever, it's so easy now. You just take a cell phone camera. You know, you get the camera going. You get a black person who's gonna get, like, you know, beat up by the cops or whatever. Boom, instant race war.
Well, I don't want to go into detail, and I'll be careful what I say, and then we have a few questions. But it's so easy, and I hate to say it, but some of the people who are the best at the manipulation and the camera are all the dear poor Palestinians in Gaza. My God, they invented the scam with the camera. Like you've heard in India, they have Bollywood. So those of us in the know call it Pallywood and Gazawood, because it almost everything coming out of, I mean, we catch them all the time. Like someone will be having a cigarette and, oh, hey, it's your turn. We got to pretend the Israelis just shot you. And, and you'll see him get into a body bag, and you'll see them like painting kids with fake blood and giving them, dolls or toys, and go lie here, go lie there. And again, it's to start shit and etc. So I have a question here from my dear friend Sylvie, who's the nice woman who helped me translate my book into French.
Oh, nice.
Are the people we know, like Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley, are not human? Did they start human and then get killed and replaced? That's an excellent question, Sylvie. I'll let you take a crack at that, Joey.
Great question. So I get that one all the time as well. So I think, well, first of all, here's the rule of thumb. If somebody's famous, they're not going to let somebody like me have a voice. Like one of the biggest, like Joe Rogan, you know who Joe Rogan is, right? And even Joe Rogan, you'll see he does a show with bricks behind him. Howard Stern, who I used to love, Howard Stern has a show with bricks behind him. So once you see the bricks, you know they're in their club. So that's a great question. Like, you don't see lots of baby pictures with these people. You know, Elvis Presley is so one of the antichrists. It's so ridiculous. Like Elvis, his name in German. So another number they love, you guys, is 216. So Barack Obama, who I'm positive is not human.
100%.
His name is Barack, right? Here's the thing about Barack Obama, Jared. It's the biggest, like, again, it's mocking us, right? So but they blame Osama bin Laden, right? And then after 9/11, we go to war, we bomb Saddam Hussein, and they put in power this guy. His name is Barack Hussein Obama, right?
And we won't even get into his husband. I mean, his wife, Big Mike.
Yeah, Big Mike. And where did this guy come from? I didn't even hear of this guy about, he did a speech one time at the DNC, but Barack Obama, he's born August 4th. What's so big about August 4th? August 4th is the 216th day of the year. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. So the guy that shot Ronald Reagan, William Hinckley Jr., he's 216. Elvis Aaron Presley, right? His name in gematria is 216. Elvis, I don't know if you know, and they love doing twins. They love saying everyone. So that for Gemini, they do twin rituals all the time. So Elvis Presley, did you know that Elvis had a twin at birth? They said, Jared.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah.
So Elvis was born January 8th. If you take his twin, January 8th, that's 216. 1 + 1 is 2. 8 + 8 is 16. And then they released Elvis's movie that came out 2 or 3 years ago on the 216th day of the year. They love that number 216.
Well, of course, but they love the fact that 6 times 6 times 6, right?
Yeah, they love, Tesla, who I think is really like their god for some, that was around, what's his name? Elon Musk. Yeah, all the stuff that he does.
He People are so hoodwinked by this guy who's one of the most evil creatures on the planet.
And he's a creature. I've shown 10 videos of that guy shape shifting his eyes. He's at the World Cup and he has like a weird neck thing on over here. So yeah, they and Elon Musk, that's the other thing. Like Elon Musk might have $20 in the bank. Same with Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. And if you twist Bill Gates' name around, it's stage. And Bill Gates, by the way, oddly enough, was born, I think, a day or it might be a year and a day before Elvis took the first polio shot. And then Bill Gates is born. How is this guy the voice of the jabby jabby? Like, who is he? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It just blows my mind how people, the sheep, we can say the sheep, how they listen to this guy and they ran and they get, like I said, my father-in-law's dead. He was so healthy. He took the jabby jab and within 6 months he was dead. He got cancer out of nowhere. And then, my wife is an oncology nurse and the doctor told my wife, we've never seen somebody's body reject treatment like your dad. He was gone like this.
Well, it's a lot of people even out here are starting to wake up and realize they all know someone that we call it turbo cancer.
Yes.
Normally when you get the C, normally it takes a while before it kicks in or it spreads, right? But there's people I have personally I've known clients who had family members within 2 or 3 months that were completely healthy. They got something and boom, 2, 3 months later, they were gone.
Yeah, same
and
here.
They all had something in common.
Yep, that thing.
Right.
And
so
it's gonna get worse.
It's only the beginning. So Joey,
Yeah.
we have a few more some more questions here. I'm going to take one from Tritrizium. What does the black eye mean of the stars, the popes, the important people? Like all the people, very often the famous people that have the black eye.
You want to take that one?
Well, I can give you my version.
Go ahead. Give me your version.
So from what I know of that is it's twofold. Number one, it's also part of a mocking ritual because you look like a freaking moron when when you're walking around with a black eye. The other thing that it comes from, and I know we see eye to eye in the following topic, but there are certain differences. For example, if we talk about Epstein Island, okay, whether it was real or not, most of these people in power are pedophiles. They're just sick, demonic, okay? Whether or not there was an Epstein Island or not, obviously, is debatable. But one of the things that we learn from children who have been abused is very often, whether it was from sodomy or whether it was from being beat, very often they have black eyes after being sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people in power are basically telling you that I'm one of these people who plays with children. They're throwing it in your face. Am I correct here? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think people get really upset with me when I call this out. Like, they like to use kids to scare people. That kids are getting abducted, and the FBI says that 840,000 American kids go missing every year. There's no way. There's no. I mean, yeah, you know how many? That's insane. 840,000 kids. I only know one kid that ever went missing growing up, and even I don't even know if that's real. That was just on the news. It was a girl at my school, but they just love to scare us. And a lot of the stories, I'll point out, there'll be a story of a kid that was killed or abducted, and you'll see orange cones everywhere or brick walls, and the kids wearing orange shirts. So they are demonic. I get a lot of flack for this. I don't think Epstein Island was real. Again, we didn't get to talk about the number 81. Like Kobe Bryant scored 81 points in his game. And by the way, that was his 666th career game. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. Yes.
He scored 81 points in his 666th career game. He called his workout the 666 workout. So, and then Kobe Bryant died on Las Virgenes Road, and even spelled with an RD. It's 81 in Gematria. There's a church supposedly where the hill was. It was called Church in the not of the Canyon. It's Church in the Canyon. 81. He died on January 26th. The pilot Ara Zaboyan. I don't even know if this guy existed. First letters A. Z is the 26th letter. And of course, you'll see the word orange or the word con everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the coaches that was on the plane with Kobe, he coached at Orange Coast High School, Orange Coast College baseball. Like, what are the odds? And you'll always see the word con everywhere. That's the other word. Like Matthew McConaughey spoke up about the Uvalde shooting. The girl had green Converse. In the car with JFK was Senator John Connolly. Sandy Hook was in Connecticut. There's so many. I can do 100 of these.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have a question here from Ready to Go Melissa. That's our dear friend Melissa, who has her own YouTube channel about traveling. And she asks here, Eminem looks nothing like his old self. What happened to him, and who is this person?
So Eminem is totally a clone. I don't know what they've done with that guy. Most of these, they're so like what's his name? I forgot his name. Martin Lawrence looks like a clone. You know, you could tell they have different different features. There's another one I'm forgetting that's such a clone. Oh, Diddy. This Diddy, the guy they're using now.
It's not the same regular Diddy. It's completely different.
It's completely different. So I don't know. Like there's a reason why. Also, when they say people die, the way they die is also some kind of code, like cancer. Because I don't think these people, these beings, they don't die like we die.
No,
who was the one that just passed away? Oh my gosh. There's a famous person that said, oh, he had cancer. And I was like, how nobody ever heard that this person had cancer. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about it.
It's not
Bill Walton, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Walton, like he was at the NBA All-Star game 2 months ago, 3 months ago. He looked good. He was healthy. But all of a sudden they say, he died of cancer. Chadwick Boseman, same thing. That's another one that opened my eyes. Chadwick, you know what Chadwick Boseman is?
Of course, Black Panther.
Yeah, so Chadwick Boseman dies at 42, right? He does the movie with Jackie Robinson called 42, and he dies on Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. I mean, it's like they're making fun of us. Like they're like, oh,
but they are making fun of us.
They are making fun of us, and then not only that, he died on August 28th. That was the date of the birthday of the guy that wrote Black Panther. His name was Jackie as well. Jackie, I forgot his last name. But his birthday was August 28th when Chadwick Boseman died. Nobody ever said Chadwick Boseman had cancer. They said he had cancer. We would, if a celebrity has cancer, we would have heard something from somebody.
100%. 100%. So I have another question from our dear friend Mel that I'm going to put. And then I want you to talk a little bit more about your website and how people can join and what it is they're going to get from your website. So Mel says, what's going on with Stephen Baldwin talking in code, sort of?
Well, I haven't seen that. So, Stephen Baldwin has a platform, unlike me. So Stephen Baldwin, what's the guy's name? Terrence Howard, who's been talking crazy stuff. Like, they get a platform. What's his name? His brother, Alec Baldwin, the whole thing about the shooting on the set of Rust was all a lie. They said the woman was Ukrainian, and then the Rams coach who wins a Super Bowl right afterwards, his fiance was Ukrainian. The Rams wore the same exact. I mean, so talking about what I do, I didn't see the Stephen Baldwin stuff, so I'll have to look into it. But they talk in code, but they say what they're none of these guys are good guys. They're not. They're evil. They're all, even Donald Trump that I was saying before that I used to love Donald Trump. He's part of the team. This whole trial with him, he knows the routine. All the numbers are always there. They all line up. And of course, Donald Trump wears a red tie every day of his life. What color tie was he wearing at the trial? Orange tie to show it's a lie. And then the other thing is that, he takes a picture. I think it's his second day in office. And he's telling everybody the storm is coming. The storm is coming. And there's Stormy Daniels. Like, they have to tell us. They have to tell us.
Absolutely. And listen, out of all the people out there, unfortunately, we don't have much choice. I'm a Trump guy only in the sense that I'll take him over all the other vermin that are there. He's definitely the best option. But to be at that level, you have to be part of the game. You have to be part of the team, so to speak. Otherwise, you just can't. So yeah. So Joey, tell us about your site. what it is that you do, what people are going to get by subscribing to your Patreon, where should they go to do so, etc.
So I have a Patreon with a partner that I met just like you. You and I hit it off. He and I hit it off. So on Instagram, I'm Coincidence Yoey. His page is Ball Don't Lie, and he does more of the gematria stuff.
He breaks it down in detail.
Yeah, in detail about how, like again, the number 201, right? We always talk about the number 201. So there's a basketball player. Have you heard of Elgin Baylor, famous NBA player?
Of course.
So Elgin Baylor dies 201 days before the national championship, right? Elgin Baylor, and who wins the national championship? Baylor University. First time in 70 years. And then as luck would have it, the head coach of Baylor University, his birthday was 201 days after he won the championship. So like AJ finds stuff like that all the time. So we charge $50 a month. There's guys that don't know what the hell they're doing. They charge $500 a pick. We charge $50 a month. And, the thing about me, if it was something where people, and, I don't encourage gambling. I always tell people have fun with it. AJ and I, we started in December of 22, I think it was. December 23. And our first 30 picks, we got 27 right. And people were freaking out like, oh my God, these guys can read the future. And it's just so and then January, we didn't have a great month. But overall, we're winning. In the NBA playoffs, I'm like 190, 105, and like 12 ties. Because it's so I found familiar patterns. So I don't really do final scores as much anymore. But I noticed we'll take the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics all year, I don't know if you guys know gambling, but in the fourth quarter, they've gone under, meaning them and the team they're playing have combined to score under a certain amount of points. And so today, the over-under is 52 in the fourth quarter. Boston and whoever they're playing have gone under this year 85% of the time because they're all fixed. But the Celtics know it, the players know it, the referees know it. So you'll see the Celtics will combine to score 75 points in the first 12 minutes of the game. And in the fourth quarter, both teams will combine to score 33. And it's a bunch of other teams. It's not just the Celtics. It's a bunch of you got to follow the patterns. But there's also gematria. They do stuff it's just crazy how everything is coded mostly through numerology.
Absolutely. And by the way, Mel and Sylvie say thank you for the answers.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for your interest, you guys. And like I said, Jared, the stuff you do is amazing. I mean, everybody knows what you do, right?
If they're on here and by now they don't know what I do, there's a problem. I will say that although a lot of them know what I do, because it's not that it's so out there, but it's very hard sometimes for people to accept. I've had a lot of people contact me for help, but when it comes time to come into my office, they just won't do it because it's not easy for someone to admit maybe I've got, demons or other entities in my home or on me or in me. So a lot of them will watch the videos that I post on YouTube. I know you've seen all the videos.
Yep.
They know it's real. They see it's real, but it's not always so easy to bring it to the forefront of your consciousness that this is really going on a daily basis. It's not always easy for people to take it that far, so to speak. But certainly everyone knows what's going on, and I think there's more and more people that are open. The biggest problem that we face, I know it's big in the States, but especially here in Canada, where we are in Quebec, it's a disaster, is everyone's going to the whole new age. On Facebook, I think every 2 minutes, I see another pop-up that some other fool, and there's people probably listening to me right now, people I know well who are saying, did he call me a fool? They know what I do. They know that I'm against all this shit. But supposedly that con artist, fraud, bimbo, Teresa Schmuck Caputo is coming here to Montreal, the Long Island Medium.
Oh, man.
She's about as fake as it gets. Okay, and she's not even a good actress. She sucks shit in every regard. And she's coming here, and every 2 minutes, someone else is interested in going to her event. Like again, it just comes to the point where they'll listen to me, they follow me, they understand that I'm warning them against con artists and frauds like this, but they're still so attracted to the nonsense. But again, as you said, everything is black magic. It's pulling the people towards it, even when they know better. It's sucking them into it.
Exactly right. It's like these people. It's almost like wrestling is fake, and still people watch it and they get so into it, and then like in real, I don't know. You have the Real Housewives stuff out there, the Real Housewives like of Orange County, all that stuff. It's so fake, and people believe it, and these the cast members are superstars and billionaires, and so this the one that you're like, a friend of mine, he was an extra one time on Chris Angel, and he was telling me, oh dude, it's so fake, they tell us like what to say, and I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, even I kind of believed it, like, oh my god, look, it's so cool. And he's like, no, like they do cuts and takes, and they wanted me to act like, oh my god, like, can you believe it? And like I saw how they did the trick. TV is evil, man. The TV is like, they push fake wars. The Ukrainian war is one of the fakest things I've ever seen in my life.
So I'll tell you a story, Joey. On day one of the so-called Ukrainian war, I did a video. In 2 days, right off the bat, it got something like 70-something thousand views.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Day 3, it was taken down. Okay. But I specifically spoke exactly about that, about this is fake. There's no real war going on there whatsoever. And by the way, I don't know about the States, but here in Canada, even in my area, in farmland, they've had a whole bunch of Ukrainians that needed help that were welcomed in and given apartments and given jobs and given the rest of it, while other people that we know are homeless and living in the streets. And I know, listen, we know you're in California, so you know the issue with the illegals that are streaming across the border.
Yep.
And it's just insane how they push these fake agendas, and how people. It doesn't matter how many scams people see, they still eat it up one after another. It's like they can't get enough of the scams. It's mind-boggling.
And they get so emotionally invested, like the Ukrainian stuff, the Hunter Biden trial, the Donald Trump trial. Like, who cares? How is this changing your life? The COVID stuff, keeping us indoors during quarantine, like, it blows my mind how there's 95%, and a lot of eyes are opening up. Like, I have friends that were mad at me about the jabby jab, and now they like apologize. They said they'll never do it again. But it's just crazy how TV is the ultimate. It's called television for a reason. They can television, and even the woman. What's her name? The Long Island medium. What was her
Caputo,
name?
Teresa Caputo.
Yeah, Caputo. She knows as much about this stuff as I do, but they want to make her look like the star. You know what I mean? Like Kim Kardashian. There's 100 million beautiful women like her in the world, but she's the one that they push and they choose. It's just, you're right. TV is evil, and I don't even watch the news anymore. Like, I used to get so invested in the news and follow, like, the whole O.J. Simpson thing was such a lie. OJ, we always talk about the number 33, right? OJ had to pay $33 million in the civil suit, and then when he fake robbed the guy in Vegas, he got 33 years in prison. He did a movie called 33, Naked Gun, 33 and a third. His name is
33 and a third. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes by OJ. OJ is known as Orange. Orange juice. There's your Orange. Kim, the name Kim is 33. Goldman is 33. But that's the thing. Like, I don't. It's black magic how they pull off that they made her look dead and that he looked dead. And of course, we always talk about how they love the galaxy and the Saturn. Do you know the name of the restaurant that they were at before the killings happened?
I forget the name of it.
Mezza Luna, the moon, Luna.
The moon, yeah.
You'll always see the moon somewhere, right? And what are the odds that OJ dies the next day after the eclipse? And his name Orenthal in the eclipse is the same number. It's just, they've been doing it for years, man. O.J. Simpson, like, and that's the thing. People they don't have egos. Like O.J. Simpson, even O.J. Simpson died from cancer, right?
Yeah.
But remember, he did a video like a month and a half before saying like, "Hey, they're saying that I'm in hospice. I ain't no hospice." And there's a brick house behind him. And by the way, what street did OJ live on? Rockingham. We always talk about Rock. He lived on Rockingham.
It's absolutely insane.
When did Marilyn Monroe die? August 4th, which is the 216th day of the year. Go look where Marilyn Monroe is buried. She's buried in crypt 33. And when was she found dead? 3:30 a.m. in the morning. It's a joke. It's a joke. They're not even human. James Dean, it blows my mind. Like when I see somebody like tomorrow, if LeBron James died in a plane crash, I'll know it's not true.
Oh,
Where they go
100%.
Where they go afterwards, I wish I knew. But even like Kobe, where my eyes weren't so open then, Kobe's he has a 12-year-old. Oh, by the way, Kobe's daughter in Gematria, her name is Gianna Bryant. That equals 126, like the date of the crash, right? So what are the odds that Kobe Bryant gets on a plane with his daughter and two other girls that are the age and not one person takes a selfie? Hey, I'm getting on a plane with Kobe. There should be 6 selfies, right? And then you got the one, there's a woman who friended me on Instagram, and she follows me, and she saw my stuff, and her best friend, and she's actually telling the truth because I went on her Instagram page. Diane Mauser, I think is the name of the girl. She was on the helicopter, and she told me, she messaged me, and she said, Joey, I'm with you 100%. I don't think my friend got on that helicopter. A lot of people don't know this, but her and her husband were going through a divorce and some serious financial problems. Just like the people of 9/11, whoever was supposed to get on a plane, they never got on any planes. Whoever on the helicopter, they didn't get on any helicopters. Where they are now, Jared, I wish I knew. But even she told me, her best friend, she's like, my gut from day one was that she was never in a helicopter crash. And she lives in Calabasas, her best friend. And she said, now that I would bring it up, she said she doesn't remember any smoke in the sky, any black smoke.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we'll take. There's one more question from Sylvie, and then I want you to give the exact info on how people can join your Patreon link for those that are interested, and just remind them again where they can find you on Instagram, where they can see all the videos and hear you do your lives and whatnot. Just going to put the video here, and I already know the answer, but I'm going to let you handle this one. Sylvie says, what do you think about the story of Princess Diana and her death?
So once again, they a lot of these are transportation rituals. So Princess Diana, she died traveling. And by the way, you could see, again, they leave clues for us. They want us to see. So Princess Diana, she got into and you guys can go on YouTube. I've done so much research. She got into a Mercedes-Benz, right? They showed the license plate number. And then the one that was in the tunnel, by the way, the tunnel, I forgot the name of the tunnel. The tunnel is also 201. So.
But it wasn't the same license plate, correct?
No, different license plates, right? And here's how stupid it is. So the paparazzi was following her, right? And they're the reason that caused the crash. By the way, Princess Diana, blue eyes, just like all the rest. They all have blue eyes. But the paparazzi, not one of them got a money shot of her dead in the car. That would have been. They said there's like 80 people following the. And by the way, somebody in the car, his name was 201. I forgot all their names, but she shows there's a different car. And then where's the picture of her dead in the car? Where's the picture of Tupac gets killed in Vegas during a Mike Tyson? And I used to do that's when I was doing my sports talk show. Where Mike Tyson fought in Vegas back then, there was 1 million people in Vegas. Not one person has a picture of Tupac dead in the streets. Like it would have been, somebody would have had a picture. Back then it was camcorders, right? So Princess Diana, same thing. They killed her. Like supposedly she died in a car crash. Where's one paparazzi taking a picture? You'll never find it. They don't go through the trouble. They don't even care. Like, people like us find that stuff. They don't even like 9/11. People still think if you go on the videos, you'll see the plane The CGI plane goes straight through the building. In real life, you can't even fly a plane that low without it combusting and blowing to pieces. That's why when you land, you go slower. So they're saying 500 miles an hour. The plane. And here's another thing I tell everybody: the hijackers, right? Let's say it was real. Let's just say for a minute it was real, and these guys don't know anything about the United States. You're telling me that they can hijack a plane over Detroit and find the Pentagon without help from the the tower? What's it called? The air control. Like they're going to be able to find, like, that's like me putting me in Canada right now and telling me, okay, go find Toronto. If it's somewhere in the air in Canada, saying, okay, go fly to Canada. I wouldn't know. You're telling me these terrorists knew how to get to the White House from Michigan in the sky? It's a joke.
What should have been the most obvious, and then we'll let you tell people where they can go find your Patreon and your Instagram. What I thought was the most obvious that people just wouldn't catch on is they can find a black box at the bottom of the ocean, but they claim that they couldn't find any black box at the Twin Towers. But hold on. So the black box was apparently destroyed, which is supposed to be indestructible, yet the passports made out of paper of the hijackers didn't burn. So the jet fuel apparently burned steel beams of a building, but it didn't burn the paper and the passports of the hijackers. It's incredible how they throw it in the face of people, and people just don't want to get it. But as you know, as Joseph Goebbels, who was the propaganda minister for the Germans during World War II, when he was in trial and they asked him, how were you able to get away with the blatant and obvious lies and propaganda? And what he said was true then, it was true before, and it's still true today. He said the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it.
That's 100%. And the other thing I noticed is that, these people, they want to be, everybody wants to be, how many people, if there must have been 40 million people in the streets of New York that day. When people tell me, oh, I saw the plane hit the tower. I was standing there. Like there's like 40 million people alive that will tell you they saw the plane hit the tower. Yeah, it's just how people, they want to be part of the lie, yeah, that's another thing, like COVID. I don't want to, they're right outside, but one of my neighbors, she's right here, she's playing with my son. She told me that she knew 11 people that died from COVID, and 4 of them were under the age of 5. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
right.
If COVID was real, Jared, we would have heard ambulances going up and down the street 24/7. I don't know one person that died from COVID. Not one.
Oh, come on, Joey. Didn't you see the images of China, people in spacesuits picking up people, dropping in the street? And I always tell people, have you seen anyone dropping in the street? Now, I know people in your parts in America, in the United States, were doing it. We had people even here going in hospitals, and we were being told that they were overloaded and overrun and jam-packed. They were empty. They were empty. People were taking videos. What they were doing is they were closing down 1, 2, 3 floors of the hospital so that it looked like it was jammed, but they were empty. It was mind-boggling. So there's a note here, and I do want you to talk about it, that we made a note that your Patreon and your Instagram links are in the video description, but I would like you to still tell people where they can find you on Instagram and where they can find your Patreon website.
So you go on my Instagram page at Coincidence Yoey with a Y, because that's how my mother-in-law says my name. Yoey. So Coincidence Yoey, and the link is there. And we charge $50 a month. And I swear to you guys, I'm a good person. I was a gambler for a long time. If I was doing this and people were losing, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. We have about 300 people in our Patreon. There should be way more, because like I said, I know guys that do what I know, guys in the same business. And my partner and I, AJ, we explain all the picks. These guys make $50,000 a month. There's a guy called Vegas Dave, Jared. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's huge in the gambling world. He probably makes $1 million every 6 months. It's ridiculous. And he told me all he does is flip a coin. And people will so these guys are con artists. Like I tell people, like, I'll find streaks and stuff that just like nobody else knows. We'll see if the fourth quarter goes under today, right? We'll see. the Boston has gone. I don't know how many games they play in the playoff, like 14. They've gone under 12 times. Nobody else is going to tell you that. Nobody else is going to tell you that. So, and baseball's my favorite sport. There's teams that like, I'll give you an example. Baltimore Orioles in the 80s. No, it was the 80s or 90s. There was a span where they lost like 50 Sundays in a row.
Crazy.
Is that crazy? Is that
That's
insane?
crazy. Yes.
Like they lost on every Sunday for about 50 weeks in a row. So that's what I do.
Yeah,
me and
go
my
ahead.
partner. Yeah, it's all you guys. All pro sports and most of them are rigged for ritual, for like Babylonian rituals. They love Osiris, like the bridge collapse in Baltimore. They do this every year. There's like remember the Suez Canal? Remember that was? They do. It's about Osiris. The George Floyd thing was about Osiris. Tim Tebow taking a knee was for Osiris. Colin Kaepernick taking a knee is for Osiris. George Floyd with the knee on what's his name? The Derek Chauvin, the knee on George Floyd. That's all Osiris ritual. They want us all to do it, so they make up this big thing. With Colin Kaepernick, it was racism. So yeah, they do everything on TV is for ritual. And don't forget, one more time, George Floyd's second grade teacher's name was Waynel Sexton. That's all you need to know. Anal sex, because they give it to us in the what. So yeah, my link is my Patreon link is on my Instagram bio. And like I said, people charge $300 a pick. Me and my partner do $50 a month. These guys, and I tell people, please do this to have fun. Don't there'll be times where I'll get like 25 in a row right, and I don't like that, because then people think like, oh my god, and then I'll get like 3 in a row wrong, and people get pissed off at me. Oh, dude, I'm like, dude, just have fun with it. Don't go crazy.
Absolutely, to do it responsibly always, and to be smart about it. And I see there's one more question here.
Absolutely, please.
But I'm going to take it first. I'm going to put it up there. Do you have a name for who is the Antichrist? So, Marlene, I'm going to take that first. First of all, in every generation, the same way there's a potential what we call Mashiach, Messiah, there's a potential Antichrist. And it's really only Christians who call it the Antichrist. We call it the false Messiah.
Yes.
Okay. Which is the real term, the false Mashiach. Okay, the fake Mashiach. Plus, as I mentioned before in my videos, there's actually 2 real Mashiachs. There's going to be Mashiach ben Yosef, who's actually going to be killed by the Shaitan, by the devil. And then there's Mashiach ben David, who's going to win that battle and bring that era of peace, the Messianic era. The thing is, and I've mentioned this before, and maybe Joey will give his point of view, and then we'll end it on this. The concept of the false Messiah or Antichrist isn't necessarily just one person. There could be many people. It could be an organization. Yep. It can be a group. It could also be objects. And there will be many, many people involved. So it's impossible to give just one. In the same way that the Torah and the Kabbalah say that no one knows who the Mashiach, who the Messiah will be and when he will come, it's impossible to give the specific individual or group who will come at a specific time and actually represent that false Messiah, or what you would call the Antichrist. Right. So many would say that the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, the European Union, the Arab League. I mean, we can go down a list of how many potential, whether it's Elon Musk, and he openly talks about AI and how he wants to put a chip in your brain. OK, so there are many, but it's nobody, and that includes me, can actually tell you a specific person of who's going to be what you would call the Antichrist, what we'd call the false Messiah. So what I will rephrase your question for Joey, and maybe he'll have an answer, is, Joey, who do you believe, if you were to look at the characters currently running the world right now, are there any in specific that you would not be shocked should they turn out to be one of these false messiahs?
Well, to me, it was Donald Trump, because Like I said, I loved Donald Trump. I used to have a MAGA hat, and I swear I was sitting right here on this couch when I was watching CNN one day. That's when I was watching TV all the time. Even though I knew the jabby disease was fake, I still wanted to see what was going on. And I actually have a video where Dr. Burks is talking like in Morse code. She's like blinking her eyes. It's crazy. I don't know if I can find it, but she blinks her eyes like 2,000 times in like 3 minutes. She's like just sitting there blinking her eyes. And then when I posted that video, she was not even on stage anymore. The next day she was on the side. That was my first video that got like 1 million views. So Donald Trump, to me, the Operation Warp Speed, when he put that out, I was like, oh my God, Trump is one of them. Like I fell for it. Like I can't believe, like I fell for it. I'm so dumb. So I really think they're going to end up killing off Donald Trump, the character Donald Trump, because he's like he's probably the most beloved human living right now. See, like usually it's an entertainer like Elvis or John Lennon, Kobe Bryant. This time it's gonna be Trump. He's gonna fake win the election. It's already planned out, and somebody's going to assassinate him. That's my feeling.
It is in The Simpsons that he gets whacked in The Simpsons.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yep. He actually gets whacked in The Simpsons. Yep.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. So that shows you it's probably gonna happen. Because by the way, Matt Groening, Simpsons. There's
30. He's a 33rd degree Mason. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a 33-degree Mason, and the name Simpsons is 33, or the last name Simpson, I think, is 33, which is also OJ's last name, obviously.
OJ Simpson, absolutely.
Yeah, what are the odds? Yeah.
Well, that's your business, dealing with the odds on your Patreon.
Yeah, right.
So I'll leave you deal with the odds. So I'm going to echo what my dear friend Mel LaBaronne says here. She says, thank you, Jared, for inviting Joey. So I want to thank you, Joey. I know you're a busy guy. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come on here and educate people from your standpoint and your perspective, how you get to where you get with the information that you have. And I think it's important for people to see that you're saying the same type of things that I'm saying. We're just coming from two different areas, but we're coming out with the same information.
You and I are totally on the same page. You and I should have some good news shortly. We'll tease them with that if you don't mind. But Jared is the real deal, you guys. Like the one thing about me is I won't deal with something if it's fake or if it's a lie, even if it's something. People approach me all the time and they'll ask me, "Hey, can you do this with me or can you do that?" And then if I don't think it's something that's true or it's some kind of deception, I won't do it. Jared is the real deal. I've never met anybody like him. He's got a heart of gold, and that guy, dude, we're buddies for life, man. And hopefully, good things will be happening soon, my friend.
Well, we'll reach out to our buddy. I know he told me he's working on something. He should have something this week, so we'll see what happens with that. And Simon says, thank God for the nice conversation. Thank you, Joey. Marie-Christine says, thank you, Joey and Jared. So, again, a lot of people are probably watching the NBA Finals, which we know is fixed. But hopefully we'll both share this video and a lot of people will have a chance to see it after, because I think there's a lot of good information. And it might wake up a lot of people that follow me and know from the spiritual standpoint, but not necessarily from the gematria standpoint. And there's a lot of people who follow you who know it from the gematria, but don't necessarily know it from a spiritual standpoint.
Perfect. Yep. And like I said, yeah, it's just bad timing. The NBA playoffs. This is so weird too. They're doing it. They love the number 3 once again, and every NBA Finals game has been 3 days apart. They've never done that before. So next time we'll do it on my Instagram Live, and I'll get to ask you the questions, and we'll have a lot of fun. But we'll definitely do this again, dude. It was a total pleasure.
Absolutely. So, and maybe next time, unfortunately, I couldn't do it in French here, but maybe on your Instagram, we can throw in a little Spanish, do a little bit of Spanish if you want. Bring on your wife, and maybe she'll throw a few lines on there. So once again, Joey, God bless. Go enjoy your time with your family. It's still early over there. And I want to thank you once again for taking the time to come on the show. It was very informative. And it's always a pleasure. And God willing, if things should go well, God willing, sometime in the next few months, I'll be down there to visit you in Southern Cal.
Deal, my friend. Sounds great. And how do you say good night in French?
Bonne soirée.
Bonsoir.
Or bonne nuit. That's right.
And for in Hebrew, it's Laila Tov. So mine's easier.
That's right. And listen, if they're still on my page, it's because they have no issue with the tribe. Because
Right, exactly.
I find the ones that are pretty fast on here who have an issue, and I call them out publicly. So
Love it. Love it.
it's
All
all
right, my
good.
friend.
All the best, Joey. Thanks for coming. Good night, everyone. Bonne
Laila
soirée
Tov.
à tout le monde. Laila Tov. All the best. God bless.
God
Peace.
bless. See you, buddy.
Be well.
Bye.
We'll speak soon.